Hello, and welcome to the Super Barley Bros. First ever podcast, episode 1 pilot. I am one of your co-hosts, Scott, and along with me tonight, we have a quad set of gentlemen. We have John, say hello.
Hello.
And we have Ian.
Hello.
And last but not least, we have Jerry.
Hola.
Alright, so welcome and thank you listeners for checking us out. And just to give you guys a little bit of an introduction of what we are about here at the Super Barley Brothers podcast. We like games. We like beer. We like the combination of the two into one. That is why we have called ourselves this. Of course, if you are not a gamer and you don't know what this represents, it represents Super Mario Brothers mixed in with the barley that goes into beer. Sorry to sound like a dumbass if you don't like it right now, but whatever. So, just to give you a little bit of intro about myself, my name is Scott. I am what I refer to as a middle-aged gamer in the 30 age group, because to me that's what the turning point is from the hardcore gamers to the casual gamers and then ultimately to the non-gamer. I have a 5-year-old son that I also play games with, and I play anything from family-friendly games to the hardcore shooters. John, why don't you take it away and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, all right. Like Scott said, I am one of the 30-something gamers. 30, almost 32 to be exact. I as well have a son. He is 3. He is not quite yet into gaming, although he does enjoy watching what I play. I play the wide gambit of genres and games that are available, although currently I am big into sandbox games. Along with that, the barley brew combination that comes into play is from my other hobby as a home brewer. So I will probably be taking the lead in a lot of the alcohol-based content in these podcasts. Ian, go ahead.
All right, so I am Ian. I am probably the oldest person on this podcast. I, too, have a son. He is 6 years old. We enjoy playing family-friendly games. I am what some people lovingly refer to as a weekend warrior, meaning that I have my son on, every other weekend. So that gives me the time to be able to play the less family-oriented games at loud volumes anytime I feel like it. When he's not here, of course. But we do enjoy playing some games together, but we'll get into that at a later point. I'm going to hand it over to Jerry.
Hi, my name is Jerry, and I'm a gamer.
Hi, Jerry.
I'm probably the youngest and the most casual gamer out of this group. Don't have a whole lot of time to play, but when I do, I seem to throw myself into it and try to get as much in as I can. I've got a 1-year-old son, so not really into gaming just yet, so I avoid the family-friendly gaming for now, and get into that in a later part of my life. And I drink beer, but I don't make it.
Yes, John is the only one on this podcast that actually has partaken in the home brewing uprising that has taken over this nation of ours, which is great.
Well, that and craft beer, too.
And definitely craft beer.
But
yes, he has introduced me to a lot of fine tastes.
And Ian is very much a craft connoisseur as well.
Oh, you better believe it.
We're getting Jerry in there as well.
I drink beer.
That's all that matters,
That's
right?
I drink beer right now. That's what I do.
And what are you drinking, Ian?
Right now, I am drinking a St. Arnold's Oktoberfest.
Beautiful.
My favorite time of the year.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
It's not as good as their pumpkin ale, though. I'm really looking forward to their pumpkinator popping out here in about a week or so.
Funny you mentioned the pumpkin ales. I've got a Sam Adams double pumpkin sitting in my chest freezer right now.
I have yet to have that. And I love Sam Adams Oktoberfest.
I have not had that one yet either, and I'm very much looking forward to it.
I am willing to give it a shot, give it a taste, but not a huge Sam Adams fan myself.
Well, the Boston Lager, which is their, claim to fame,
it's
right?
The default.
I prefer the ale, though. Like, the Boston Ale I like, but the Boston Lager I honestly avoid.
Nothing wrong with that. Jerry, what are you drinking tonight?
Tonight, I just happened to grab a Shiner Bohemian Black Lager.
Ah, very nice. Keep it local.
That's right. Support them Texas companies. Not the
Amen.
best thing to drink during the day of a hot summer day, but I like the taste. I like the flavor. It's good.
Scott, what are you drinking?
I have a local brew from Lakewood. I have their greatness of the Hop Trap. Not going to go killer tonight and drink a Temptress, so love me a hoppy beer.
What's that one that you had at Alamo?
The Velvet
That was
Hammer
a Velvet Hammer.
by
That is a
Pedicolis.
nice 9% by Pedicolis, who is out of California. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, they're local. They're Dallas.
Ooh,
Shame
my
on
bad.
you,
Never mind.
mother lover.
Shame on me. So yeah, Velvet Hammer is a great hoppy beer. Love, love, love. Is it an IPA?
Velvet Hammer?
Yes.
No, it's not even an IPA.
School me. Come on. Give me some knowledge.
I'm gonna have to school your ass without a doubt. The Velvet Hammer is... Hang on, I've actually got to go look this one up because I don't remember. I'm terrible in regards to some of these beers because there's so many of them.
That's all right. While you're doing that, I'll go ahead and segue into game news and releases that are out this week. So, not really much going on in the game news. Tokyo Game Show is this next week. Sony does have their press conference tomorrow. And before we get into the whole fanboyism of, what we have, which we'll keep it to a minimum, Sony supposedly has teased that they're going to have a huge special announcement that has been a long time coming. A lot of rumors have been pointed to that they'll finally talk about The Last Guardian and whether that'll be a PS4 release next year or if they'll finally bring it to the PS3 in the next year. That has been a game that has been announced. Yeah. Well,
I'm going to wager a guess that the Last Guardian's going to come out on the PSP.
And Scott, if you would like to
in the
know,
prime time of that.
Velvet Hammer is an Imperial Red.
Oh, it's an Imperial Red.
It's an Imperial Red, so that is right up Jerry's alley.
Red.
And yes, it comes in at a nice strong 9%.
Yes, it is a beautiful beer.
All right, I apologize for that one.
See, and that's where
Carry
I feel bad for. Doesn't Oklahoma still have a restriction on their percentage?
Their near beers? Yeah. I don't think any Oklahoma beers can be above 4.5.
So sad.
Yeesh, that's pathetic. Yep.
That's a lot of beer just to get a
I
little
know,
buzz.
right?
Mm-hmm. Blame the big three
not
on
for
that
me.
one.
They just go across the border to Denison or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, back onto the gaming news.
That's okay. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ian, is Microsoft going to appear at the Tokyo Game Show this week?
From what I've heard, they are not going to appear. They may have a presence there anyway, showing off some of their upcoming games for the Xbox One. But as far as I'm aware, they are not going to have an actual press conference at Tokyo Game Show, which to me makes a lot of sense. I'm not going to knock on... Well, let's go ahead and just point it out. I am the Xbox fanboy, but I'm not gonna knock on them because we all know that the Xbox 360 did not sell at all over in Japan. So it really makes no sense for them to be at Tokyo Game Show. They're going to go ahead and focus on the regions where they know that they're going to have sales, which raises the question why they didn't have a stronger presence at Gamescom, but that's besides the point. But no, as far as I'm aware, they will not be there.
Okay, it's good to know. Yeah, you're right, and I'll be honest with you, it'll save them money even in the long run because that is a true Sony Nintendo market. Just like it is over here, Microsoft throws out the biggest and brightest and gets all these musical artists and everything like that in the area to come out to E3 because that is their whole market is in the US. That is where the majority of the consoles did sell, and where Sony they don't have to worry about their fan base out in Japan, so they're going to of course present all the games that are not going to will come over to the West Coast, but also that will not come over, which always ticks me off. That's one thing that Sony I wish would do is to, even though there's probably not a huge market for the JRPG fanatics like there used to be, I really wish that they would still, since these aren't region-locked games, to make them still available in the U.S., whether it be special, stores that you can order them from online or whatever, because there's a lot of really good games that are on the PS3 that I wish I could have. But, it is what it is. But yeah, Microsoft was at Gamescom, a couple weeks ago or something like that, and they then just recently finally announced the release date, which is going to be November 22nd, which is, just a little over a week after, well, no, that is a week after the PS4 comes out, and right before Black Friday, which is I don't understand why any console would release the week of Black Friday. So it's good on them that they're releasing a week early.
Well, it makes sense. I mean,
so
to
there's
an extent. I mean, the 22nd is a Tuesday, so that's the typical release day for gaming, right? And so with the Black Friday deals going on, I mean, it's not, well, I guess it's not really going to be a deal. It's going to be $4.99, but everybody's in the shopping mood at that point. And with Xbox being fresh, I think that's a good marketing move for them. Even though, Sony's doing a week earlier.
Well, what's funny is the 15th and the 22nd of November are on a Friday. And it's really interesting that a console releases on a Friday because,
October,
like you said,
that's why I'm an idiot.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Well, this is what I wanted to bring up because it's really interesting that now the new Tuesday is going to become Friday, at least for the console releases, which I find really puzzling because, like you did bring up, when do all new games come out?
Yeah.
Tuesdays.
Yeah, but if you think about it,
that's when all new movies come out, and that's when everything comes out.
Yeah, but if you've got a brand new console unit that you're putting out there on the market, I mean, granted, you're gonna have those people that'll take the days off and they'll purchase it day one. They'll spend 4, 5, 6 hours playing with it the very first opportunity that they pick it up. You're gonna have much more luck and much more commitment over the course of a weekend if you do a
and that's
if you
when
do a
games
launch
release overseas in Europe. Yeah,
right. So if you do a Friday
I
launch,
actually am fine that. Yeah, I'm all for the games and consoles coming out on a Friday before a weekend, just due to the fact that we all have Monday through Friday jobs that we don't have the luxury to unfortunately take off days, which this probably is going to be right before Thanksgiving break for a lot of kids and everything like that. So I mean,
gives them something to do.
Ideal for these consoles to come out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, so Ian.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let me jump in here real quick before
Sure.
you ask your question. What I'd like to throw out there is that if you've noticed in the past, Nintendo actually releases all their consoles on a Sunday.
Do they really?
So I'm not exactly sure why Sony and Microsoft have come out and decided to do theirs on a Friday. I could see y'all's point where it comes to the, you want to spend the weekend over it, but anybody that's really willing to drop $400 to $500 on a console is probably going to want to spend more than 2 to 3 days with the console, just getting to know it completely. Now, I don't want to sound like I'm doting because both consoles are going to fall underneath this the same header, but releasing on the 22nd leads into the week of Thanksgiving. And I know a lot of companies actually shut down for that entire week. So that leaves, your more early adopters that have the money to throw at it to be able to spend that week tweaking and working with it. Now, granted, the PS4 will be out a week earlier, so they'll have more time to spend with it. But I think it is a good thing that they've done it right before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, but that is right before the week of Thanksgiving where all these people take vacation trips and leave to go out of town to be with their families and whatnot, and even
yeah,
that's
but
the only thing that I can't
you're gonna have
understand
people
is
that
why
still
release a week of a holiday when everybody travels and nobody's really at home. And yeah, it is all about getting family together, but you know what, Ian? That brings up a great point of what the Xbox One is really trying to market towards, which is not just gaming. It is trying to market more towards link your TV up to it. What better way to show on Thanksgiving Day to have the football games showing up when Dallas plays whoever they're playing, and to be able to have the Xbox One linked to that cable provider, and if it all works, being able to bring up that fantasy football league if you're a huge fantasy football person with ESPN. So in that way, that is genius to release it right before the biggest football game day besides the Super Bowl of the year.
Not to mention the fact that you'll be able to have your fantasy league stats on the side of the screen while you're watching the game and show that off as well. Not that I'm a huge football fan, but it's something to show off.
Yeah, and it's unique, and it's different, and I'm for it, but, we could get into a whole debate, but it just depends on what everybody wants in a console. To me, I just want to play games, and I understand their whole market. They want to be able to reach out to the moms at home that they'll go out and say, oh, well, I can watch TV with this. I don't just have to give it to my son or daughter to just play games. They can actually, not have to turn off that console, and I could just say, I want to watch The View, or I want to watch, I don't know, Everybody Loves Raymond or something, and they'll just find it for them and start playing it.
Everybody loves Raymond.
I don't know. It's
Nice
just a
choice
thing that I
there.
came up with at the last minute.
Now,
Ad-libbing a little.
Jerry, you had something that you wanted to throw in before I ran on my rant. What were you trying to ask?
Well, not necessarily around. I mean, I still play Xbox 360 when I can, right? I've got it set up in my office and whatnot. But so I got two questions. One was, are you going out and getting it, Ian, or did you order it online? And two, with it being released and the news that came alongside it, right, saying that it's still going to be supported for 3 years. My follow-up question to that is, when do we start thinking prices will drop on the 360?
That's a really good question. So to answer your first question, I attempted to looking into going into a store and pre-ordering it. In fact, I think it was the Tuesday after they announced that they gave it the full-fledged announcement at E3 and went over all that stuff. I went into a GameStop and was actually told that they were unable to reserve any more copies. So what I did is as the senior elderlist man here, I actually went online and ordered it from the Microsoft store. So I will have it delivered to my house. I am not like these young whippersnappers who will be standing in line to pick it up at midnight, because even if I did that, I would just get home, set it in front of the TV, and go to bed, because I've got a job that I need to get to in the morning that I don't have any real sick time. Now, to go along with your question about it's going to be supported for the 360 will be supported for the next 3 years, when do I think that a price drop is going to come out? Actually, it seems, from what I've read, that Microsoft will be earning a profit on the Xbox One as it's coming out. If not a profit, they'll be breaking even. They're not going to be losing any money like they did on the launch of the 360. So it is one of these things where a price cut would probably be at that 3-year to 4-year spot when they're trying to get those people that are still death gripping onto their 360 and not willing to transfer over to the next generation because of the prices that will be out there. I am actually going to be one of those people that will have 2 Microsoft consoles hooked up to his living room TV, due to the fact that so many great games are due to come out this year and 2014 for the 360 that will not be on the Xbox One. And since the Xbox One is not backwards compatible out of the box, I'm going to have them both sitting side by side.
Is it due to have backward compatibility at all?
They're stating that in the future, with the, I'm using air quotes and you can't see it, the cloud technology that they've got going on, they're going to have the ability to possibly do that in the future. Very similar to the PS4, correct me if I'm wrong, Scott, but they're looking to offer some type of quote-unquote backwards compatibility through their Gaikai procurement.
Well, I would assume that the backwards compatibility with either console is only going to happen for those games that are actually released on both consoles, because and this was from the earlier releases of the Xbox One stats, is that they were saying it simply can't be backwards compatible just because of the hardware. And so I would assume, from a technological standpoint, Watch Dogs, right? It's being released on both generations. Eventually, if you bought Watch Dogs on 360 or PS3, eventually we would assume that you could play it on PS4 or Xbox One, because it was developed under both. Whereas if we're talking, like Saints Row the Third or something like that, you're probably not going to be able to play that on the next-gen consoles at any point, because it was never created for the next-gen console.
I see where you're coming from. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Scott.
That's okay. Well, what a lot of companies are, like GameStop and stuff, that they're doing is they're making it for both consoles. So take, for instance, Call of Duty Ghost, and I think they're even doing it for the Madden games and stuff like that. If you buy the current gen's copy of that game and then you want to upgrade that to the Xbox One or the PS4 version, you would have to pay $9.99 or $10 to get that copy with your trade-in of the current gen game. And to go back on what Ian was talking about, yes, that is correct. So Gaikai, this is where I have a huge problem with this whole backwards compatibility issue. And, we need to know a lot more about this once we finally have this roll out, hopefully in the next year or two. But my whole concern is, if I bought all these games that are on my PS3, if I have Ni no Kuni, if I have Twisted Metal, if I have Resistance, Killzone, all these games, and when I get my PS4 and the Gaikai service comes out and says, you can play all of your games from the PS3 and to today's games, but you have to buy it again. If they find a way that they could take the UPC off of my game that I own and link it to my account to where I could play through the Gaikai service, then I would be fine with it. But I don't want to have to buy the same damn game that I have in my possession again if I want to play it on the PS4. I'll keep the PS3 and I'll keep those games, and I will say screw the backward, the Gaikai service. The only way that I can see the Gaikai service being a benefit, or the cloud service being a benefit to Xbox One and PS4 people, is for people that are getting this console and never got the 360 or the PS3, and they never got to play Halo 1 through 3, and they never got to play the Resistance trilogy or the Killzone trilogy, and they play Killzone Shadowfall or Halo 5, and they go, damn, I missed out on some good gaming. I need to go back and I need to find out what the hell happened because I have no idea what I played. So,
yeah, there's some times.
I mean, that's the only thing that bothers me about the whole online service.
Yeah, there's some times that I wish I hadn't sold off my Xbox or my PS2.
Still in my closet.
Yeah.
Like...
And it's in a... I mean, that's the only thing that sucks is at least they continue to release... I mean, but think about it, and I'll ask Ian this question right now, and I'm glad that you keep those consoles, but when was the last time you hooked it up and played a game recently on those?
Fair question. Not recently enough to actually recall the exact day. I know a while back I had some friends over and we did a retro gaming night where I had every console that I had out on the living room floor, and every game was out. And I was like, pick one, and you got 15 minutes.
Did you have a Commodore 64 out?
I couldn't actually find the power supply for the 64, so that was a bad time. Because I had GoldenEye and the original Smash Brothers, and that would have been a good drunken night.
Oh, without a doubt.
But yeah, no, I haven't had them out in the longest time. But it's one of these things where one of these days those consoles are going to be forgotten, and these games are going to, the games that are on it are going to end up being 99-cent purchases on a touch-based system like an Android or an iPhone or something along those lines. And it's not going to have the same effect. The registration of the buttons and things along those lines will not be exactly the same. So it's one of these things where I hold on to it for the future. I hold on to it so that one day I could sit my son down, put him in front of a copy of Kid Icarus and go, I don't want you to come out of this room until you've broken 3 of these 4 controllers that are in here.
Well, see, and that's what I love about Nintendo. Nintendo has a virtual console, and they've released all these games that are linked to your Nintendo account that you can play on the Wii or the Wii U. It's all transferable.
Yeah, but when can you actually take that?
released...
When can you take that cartridge out and blow on it?
Yeah, that's true. And actually, Scott, to that point, they are not transferable. In fact, what happened, between the Wii and the Wii U, when they opened up the Virtual Console on the Wii U, they reached out to, or they sent out a communication, I think it was during one of their Nintendo Directs, which I never watched because it's like 6 a.m. and I'm not doing that. One of the things that they said is that the Virtual Console games that you have on the Wii are not compatible with your Wii U. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're going to do the back catalog thing and release everything again on the Wii U. And if you already have the original, you can get the one that plays on the Wii U at a discounted rate, which is, I believe, between 50 cents to $1. Now, I'm in agreement with you. I've paid for it, I've downloaded it, and I've played it on a console. With me knowing, let's use the 360 and the One as an example here. None of my XBLA games on the 360 will transfer to my One, so why would I not hold on to my 360 so that I could go back and play Trials or Torchlight or what else do I got on the Shadow Complex, things along those lines. I'm going to have to hold on to those systems so that I could play those.
And then that's where you have to bring in the whole PC gaming thing that I've been addicted to lately as well. Is that's why I wish these next gen consoles would just look at the PC and say, look at a PC, they can go back 20 years and play the same game that came out then the same way it looks now, and you don't have to worry about it, whether it be Steam or whether it be through GOG, whether it be through Gamersgate, Greenmane. I mean, I can go on and on, but that's what I wish these next gen consoles would understand. Give us an account that'll link to all the damn systems and make it all work together, because essentially that's what these consoles are going to turn into. They're just going to turn into pretty much gaming PCs that can have other functionalities such as, downloading apps and whatnot and all that stuff.
It's about money.
And that's what sucks. And, being the old man, of course, bringing out damn government, damn companies and shitting all over my... I mean, that's how I feel.
Motherfuckers, they just want to get into my pocket
it's like,
and take my money.
Why do I want to support something that I've supported for 30 plus years that they're going to f*** me over again when I've already bought this game 3 different times? I mean, look at Street Fighter 4. You got Street Fighter 4, Super Street Fighter 4, Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition, Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition 2012 version, and now Ultra Street Fighter 4.
Hey.
I mean, that's Capcom, that's another company, but it's just like, I don't know. I mean, we've been talking about this for so long. I mean, we can continue on and on and on. But, I mean, like Ian said, so Ian, you ordered Xbox One through the Microsoft Store. Right after I saw Sony's conference at E3, and they said the price was going to be $399. And they said they were taking orders now. I immediately went on Amazon and I pre-ordered it, and I got the Day 1 edition where they're going to be shipping it to my house on the 15th, no extra charge. And that's how I'm going to be doing it. I'm doing the old man thing as well. I don't have the time or, the days off to be able to take off 3-4 days before that console comes out and guarantee my copy by sitting out, camping out, and doing all that stuff. I mean, I can't even remember the last time I did a midnight release.
See, now that's funny that you bring that up because I was actually fondly remembering not too long ago. There was Halo 3 where
Yep.
you, me, and John were out
Hey,
there.
and me.
Then there was Halo Reach.
Yeah,
you-
Jerry was out there too.
No, that was Halo Reach that Jerry was out there for.
Yeah,
I wasn't
Jerry
at
went there for
the
Halo 3.
I wasn't at the Reach one.
Okay. Well, shit, I got that
That
all
doesn't
backwards. And then there was, what was it?
Didn't we do a Gears of War one too?
Oh man, yeah, we did for Gears of War 3. That one was actually really fun too. But the best one that sits the highest in my memory was Halo Wars. Oh man, that was fantastic. Me and 3 other people sitting in the night out in front of GameStop.
You sound like a
we're
stalker.
generous. No. The owners were generous enough, or the GM or whatever was nice enough to come out and go, guys, it's cold, come inside.
Oh.
And it was a balmy September evening, and it was great. I had a good time with those
3 people?
3 other guys that were there. Yeah, no, it was 5, but Sean was there with me, but it was one of these things where he was only there because I forced him to.
Now, Halo
Forced
Wars,
coercion.
I will,
Nothing wrong with it.
I will say Halo Wars for a console game like that was definitely good. I really wish they would release it on PC as well, though, too. It's on some kind of like anniversary edition or something like that. That'd be fun to do like a LAN party with or something like that.
Yeah, that would be really cool if they could get Robot to come back and rebuild the game for PCs. Robot being the company that Ensemble Games turned into after Microsoft closed them while they were still making Halo Wars.
Yep.
Just throwing that out there, just saying.
The joys of everything being about money.
So I've got a question that I'm going to throw out here because with the new generation coming around, I am I will go ahead and say that I am the 360 fan or the Xbox fanboy in this group, but there are a lot of games on the PlayStation 3 that I really want to get my hands on and play. So, do you guys have a thought as to when Sony or Microsoft is going to start actually lowering the prices on their current gen consoles to try to capture people jumping in at the last minute?
I would probably.
So, right after...
go ahead, Scott.
You bet. So I am pretty much the Sony fanboy of the group. Ian and I have very fun conversations every now and then, and we like to fuck with each other. We know it's not we're not being all serious and shit like that. We just know that we have our own passions, and we respect each other for that. What would be gaming without your passion for having a loyalty to a console or a loyalty to a game? So to answer your question, right after Gamescom, they did announce, and to me it's kind of a cheap shit move, not to say that it's a good deal, but they did release a $199 version of a PS3. That's a 12 gigabyte hard drive, and 12 gigabytes is pretty much a smack in the face. But the one good thing about the PS3 and soon to be PS4 is you can change out the hard drives, and all it takes is a laptop hard drive.
I'll give you that, but when I'm talking about price drop, I'm talking about price drop that captures someone who is a fanboy to the opposing side. So I did not buy an Ouya just because I have no interest in playing Android games on my TV when I can play them on my tablet or my phone. But their price, $99 for a home gaming console.
It'll never get to that. I would think
That is no. See, now the GameCube, when I finally got when I finally got the GameCube, it was $99. But then again, that was Nintendo's first failing console, so they had to kind of go that route to capture as many people as they could. But I am not willing to dive into the PS3 until $99 because I'm going to turn around and drop quite a bit of money on games at the store because I'm a huge believer in buying new. That way it counts as a new purchase for that developer because I love my developers. They are fantastic people and they need all the respect that they could get from consumers. So even if, let's say, The Last of Us is $30, all right, and then Beyond Two Souls is $30, that's at least $60. So that's $160 right there. Not to mention possibly having to buy a secondary controller if I want to buy Super Smash Brothers Sony All-Stars Battles, or whatever the hell it's called.
Well, I would think that, we're going to...
And here's the thing about that.
I'm thinking they're going to wait until they see how this Thanksgiving, Christmas season goes on their console sales. I bet you they don't even have in mind a set date of when they would want to do price drops. I'm pretty sure that they're going to want to see how these next-gen consoles come out. I'm thinking that, I just had to pick up a new PS3 because my old one GPU messed up or whatever, and I wasn't brave enough to try to fix it myself. So I went and picked one up off of Amazon, and it was $270 for 120 gig with, Infamous 1 and 2 and Uncharted 1 and 2. So I think I still got a pretty good deal on it because I got 4 games, out of that as well that were, $60 at the very beginning. So I think the next price drop, whenever they decide, I can see it going to the $199 area. But I mean, did Xbox or PS2 ever get down to $99? New, even when that generation?
PS2 got to $120, I believe.
I know that I know it might have been 5 years into the generation, but I know that at least the PlayStation 2 got down to 99. To unfortunately speak poorly of Microsoft, as soon as the Xbox 360 was released, they basically came out and said, "All right, this is out. This is it. Original Xbox or Xbox Prime, whatever you want to call it." Dead. We're done. No more games are coming out on it. We're no longer supporting it. Xbox Live will still be there for you guys that are paying your monthly fee, but other than that, we're done and gone. So it was up to retailers to set their price for the Xbox Prime. So I couldn't speak for that, but I know that I saw the PlayStation 2 get down to $99, probably about 2 to 3 years into the PS3's run.
Yeah, it might have. I thought they only dropped to about 120, but I could be wrong. The thing about the PS3 price drop, though, especially with the games that you're talking about that you'll be spending, you're not going to be spending that much on those games by the time those price drops go because they'll be out for so long, such as PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, since they've already canceled the sequel to that and they've already stopped all the DLC characters. I just saw it on Amazon not too long ago for $15, and that's $15 for not only the PS3 version, but you get the copy of it on Vita for no charge as well. So that's going to be dropped. Last of Us has already been dropped to 40 by now. I'm guessing probably by the end of the year, right around Christmas time, they'll probably drop it to 30, which kind of pisses me off because they haven't announced jack, and they said that in the month of August, which we're now in September, that they were going to announce because I bought the season pass day one, and they said they were going to talk about it in August, and they only talked about a new multiplayer mode that they were going to add free of charge to everybody, but nothing about the DLC, which I really want to know, just like with BioShock Infinite. I want to know more. I mean, we finally got the Burial at Sea information, but that was it. No release date, nothing.
I want to jump in on this season pass stuff real quick.
That it's a waste.
It is, man. I'm sorry. I love Borderlands 2. I really do. But Gearbox has honestly taken this for granted. A friend of mine, I didn't even purchase the season pass. A friend of mine actually bought the season pass for me and sent it to me, and I was very grateful of that. I actually have yet to finish the second DLC, and I have yet to try to download the third and fourth. Now, what really gets my goat is that during the season pass cycle, they announced the level cap. And the first level cap raise was to the season pass holders. The second level cap, which is out now, at least on Xbox, I'm not sure about PC, it costs. I haven't looked into it because I'm not going to pay for a level cap raise when I've effectually purchased 4 sets of DLC. Now, the other thing that gets me in the wrong way is that in the process of announcing and releasing the 4 DLCs that were promised in the season pass, they announced a new playable character. That was not in the season pass, and they released him before the season was over. In effect, that character should have been in the season pass. When they had told us that the last season pass would have been an add-on, such as Tiny Tina's Assault on Dungeon's Keep, I think it's what it's called. Since that was the last one, anything before that should have been downloadable for me. But I didn't get Krang or whatever his name is. That's completely wrong. I'm sorry. I've been drinking. But it's one of those things where it's like I feel that the season pass mentality is being taken advantage of because people are like, "Whoa, we'll give you season pass and we'll give you X number of shit." Well, that's fine. I want all my shit before you start charging me for other shit. Like, I'm not happy with Irrational Games. Now, let me backpedal. I love the hell out of Bioshock 1 and Bioshock Infinite. Love them. And I cannot wait to play Burial at Sea Part 1 and 2 or whatever the second one will be called. But that first thing that they threw out there, that's kind of bullshit. I'm sorry. But that's one of those
Wasn't
things
it like a wave thing or something like that where you just fight waves of enemies?
It's like, in effect, it's a horde mode for single player type of stuff. That's bullshit. I'm sorry. I understand that you're trying to sedate people who bought the game back when it first came out and bought the season pass at that exact time, and you told them 3 bits of DLC, here's something, because we don't have anything. You know what? I'm okay with you guys coming back and saying, it's delayed. I mean, I don't know how many times the first Bioshock, before it was even an established IP, was delayed, and I still bought it within the first 2 weeks of it coming out. So, it's just, this whole season pass thing has got me on the wrong side. Granted, sidebar, real quick, I have to commend all the companies that are buying into the season pass transference between current gen to next gen. That's big. It's a big high five to them for that.
Yeah, and that they had to have done that if they wanted to make a profit or whatever on the current gen games, because you know how many people are going to upgrade as well. But as far as the season passing goes, now I have purchased my share of season passes. I did buy the Borderlands 2 season pass on PC, but I got that at a significantly discounted rate from one of the gaming sites that I pretty much have on my tracking radar of deals whenever they pop up. So I got it for, I want to say 30% off. Johnny, correct me if I'm wrong. I think we paid just about 20 when it was 30 or something like that.
No, that sounds about right.
So that was my first season pass that I bought as well. And granted, I've never played Tiny Tina's RPG Fest, whatever it is. But John and I did play through Torg, and we played through the Pirate Booty one, and then we have not played through the, fancy gentleman guy, whatever his name is, on the hunting excavation or whatever. I'm not trying to say that the thrill of that game died, but there's just so many other games, and we are so limited on time on shit that we can play. It's like, I gotta move on. I mean, it's dedication, and I am definitely getting my money's worth for playing a 60 to 70 hour game, but I got so much shit I gotta play too, just to make sure that I can keep up with what's out in gaming. So after that DLC, when Injustice came out, I was a huge buyer into this game. When I saw the gameplay, and I saw the roster, and I saw that they weren't gonna fuck us over like Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, or when I bought it, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and that whole shit fiasco about, let's release another version, and let's, not let you download the DLC characters like Ghost Rider and stuff on the Marvel vs. Capcom version. You have to buy this new version. It won't work. And I'm like, fuck you, I'm done. So when I saw the roster, and then I saw the season pass was only $14.99, and I was going to get 4 downloadable content characters. Yes, probably they were already on the disc. It was just to unlock the key, whatever. But $14.99 for 4 characters when they really range about $5 to $6 a piece. I'm going to get my money's worth, and I'm going to support the developer whenever they get it out. I played the hell out of Injustice, and I've just now loaned it to Jerry so that he could play through it. But I played sidebar and talk about that game. I played through the story. I've read the comic. It's a fantastic story, and if anybody's played the reboot Mortal Kombat, it's just as good. And I love the story in Mortal Kombat and how they left that up for another, which rumor has it that they're working on a sequel to that finally, which they do leave a very huge cliffhanger. No spoilers, I'm not going to say, but there is a huge cliffhanger in the end on what happens and how it leads into another one, or a possible other one with different heroes. Because I'm not going to say who they are, but there are some notable deaths in the story. Injustice just had a great... What? What, have you not
said
played
they're
through
notable deaths. No,
Well, I'm not going to tell you who. They're all notable to me. I mean,
well,
all
true,
the traditional characters.
Up,
I mean, you got to think, who could it be? Liu Kang, Raiden, Johnny Cage, Sony. I mean, Johnny Cage was killed in Mortal Kombat 2, I believe it was.
Well, so Liu Kang was killed at one point because wasn't he a zombie in one of the other games?
That's right. I forgot which one, but you're right.
I think it was Armageddon or something along those lines.
Well, to take a fighting game and to be able to create a well worth story out of that, I'm sold. And how Jeff Johns and all these guys at DC were involved in the making of this game, and the DLC characters are awesome. I mean, I forgot who the hell Lobo was until I saw him in a Superman animated series, and I forgot who he was, and he was an assassin. And Superman fought him, and he reminds me of a Ghost Rider for DC side. And I don't know. I mean, there's just the whole thing about Season Pass is, to me, if you buy it, you'll buy it because you want to support the developers. And, that's that. So, we are hitting about 40 minutes in, so we'll go ahead and...
Wait, now,
go
hang
ahead.
on. We're 40 minutes in, so I want to go ahead and do this. Knowing that we're all on Steam, granted I just said that I'm the Xbox fanboy here, I do have a Steam account, but I know that the three of you have actually been playing Saints Row 4.
Yes.
So I don't want any spoilers, but I want you to go ahead and each of you take your time and tell me the fantastical points about this game while I kick back and drink my beer.
Well, let me ask you this, Ian.
John, since you haven't talked...
Ian, did you ever play Saints Row 3?
Hold on, Jerry.
Yes, actually, I played the full package edition, I believe is what it's called. So I played the vanilla game and then all the DLC added to it.
Okay, so Saints Row 3 and Crackdown had a love child, and it was called Saints Row 4.
Sold.
And talking points are avoided.
That's all you need to know, man. I was hesitant, because I knew I was going to buy the game, right? I mean, I love I played Saints Row the 3rd twice. Once on the 360, and what was it? The summer sale. They were having this huge deal on Steam with like the full-blown version, all the DLCs and everything like that, and it was too good of a deal not to get it. So I went ahead and bought it again on Steam, played through it again all the way through. So I played through it twice. Ian, you and I played through Crackdown once, just co-op, and then we both played through it at least once on our own. So, I mean, Saints Row 4, fantastic. Love it.
Yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer.
John, why don't you
purchase.
talk a little bit about it now?
Scott and I picked it up. It's one that we've enjoyed playing. We tend to play a lot of games together. Saints Row 4, Scott was working on this for another podcast that he's a part of to try to get a review knocked out, but I didn't make it in time. I've got about 22 hours into the game, so just shy of a full day, and granted that's roughly 2 hours of gameplay a day, off and on to get in there and play, but it's fantastic. I mean, like Jerry says, it's a great culmination of everything that's already out there. It's just pure chaos, pure fun. The superpowers are probably the biggest bonus to the entire game. That and the dubstep gun are two things that are just an absolute blast. But
Now, hang on real quick. I'm sorry. I got to stop you there. This is another thing that has just come to light in my eyes recently. Another thing that I just want to throw out there, that sometimes DLC can be just a little too much, is I heard that there is DLC for the dubstep gun, which all it does is adds 4 different tracks for the gun to use.
that's correct. Scott, you picked up the DLC for that, didn't you?
All right, now you gotta single me out.
Scott.
Yeah, I was a sucker for it. I know it's a money grabber, and that's exactly what it was. But to be able to pump out heavy metal music, finally, since they took away Blood 666 on the Saints Row 4, which pissed me off, that was the one thing that I have to say pissed me off about this game, was their soundtrack. To me, sucks compared to 3. There's not as many notable songs. There are a couple hits that you'll recognize, but when they took away Blood and all the heavy metal music that was on there, that's all I listened to. And when a lot of people questioned it and they were like, why are you taking this radio station out, they actually came out and said that when they did their study on people that played online or was connected online doing co-op, that was the least listened to radio station. And I'm like, well, then you really didn't see how often I listened to it. So, well, I'm a minority, I guess, so whatever.
Well, now wait a second. Okay, so
Yeah.
a game that focuses on doing things that are hugely inappropriate to even discuss in a public forum decides that due to the fact that people are not listening to a certain type of music on the radio station, they're going to go ahead and cut that radio station out of the game altogether. I mean,
Yeah, they wanted to save money and add. Yep. Yep.
No, I mean this game got banned in Australia because of the anal probe gun. I think it was.
Which you can only get through the season. You can only get that through the season pass, which I actually bought that as well.
So that's why. Okay, I didn't know that. I was like, what? I was like, what's the big deal with this thing? I thought it was the bat, that tentacle bat.
Okay, yeah, no, that's not it.
Speaking of the bat, do I still get a chance to run around and beat people up with a giant purple dildo?
Yes.
Although I don't think it's purple anymore.
I prefer
It's a
the
tentacle.
energy sword.
It is purple. It is still the purple dildo.
Yeah, no, it's Ian. It's a tentacle now. So you get your Japanese porn in there.
No, you can actually get it, John. Go to your weapon cache. It is in there.
Is
your
it?
purple dildo is in there.
Oh, okay. The penetrator.
Alright.
I promise. Hey, trust me. I made sure it was in there.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
Now, Ian, see, this is what Ian's going
But
to
to go
do.
back on this anal probe, so it is a alien weapon, and it's pretty badass if you ask me. And it's actually worth the $9.99. That's the cost of the season pass. But John actually got to see this when I showed it to him. What happens is you actually go up to a person, and you hit the attack button, and it'll trigger a little not a cutscene, but a little animated GIF, would you say, or whatever, emotion, where it makes the person that you hit the attack button, makes them turn around. You take the rod, stick it up their ass, and it actually goes censored, and you jerk it in there, and then you actually launch them out of a cannon, and there's stars that come out after you shoot them out.
That's because you got to add
like a
some
can-
flair
it's
to
pretty
the end of
fun
that.
cannon.
I mean, you can't just jam something in someone's ass and not expect stars to shoot out somewhere.
No, see, what Ian's going to do is...
just to give you an idea
he's
from my
gonna
point
get
of view. Oh, go ahead, Jared.
He's going to get one of the Star Wars outfits that they have in there. He's going to get the energy sword, and that's all he's going to do. He's just going to go run around like a demented Jedi.
You know, at least I didn't, don a long black trench coat and start reenacting scenes of The Matrix.
Hey, shut up.
Ooh, we're getting personal now.
No, but and that's the other thing that I like about Saints 4, is they do a lot of tongue-in-cheek, right? But they do it so well. I mean, opening scene, they've got, not the opening scene, the opening space scene. They've got a Star Wars reference, stay on target, I mean, it's just, that's what sold it. And then, of course, Michael Dorn's one of the voices in there. And, I mean, they did a lot of homage to the sci-fi genre, whether it was gaming or whether it was movies or anything like that. And they did it well, I think.
I loved it.
And
Now,
here's
let me
the thing
throw
that I have to... Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Scott. No, go ahead.
All right, so I've played all the Saints Row. I actually got it first on the 360 because it didn't exist on any other console, and I played Saints Row and I loved it. And then I got Saints Row 2, played that co-op, and when I really truly fell in love with Saints Row was in 2, when I was playing co-op with John, and the mini missions sold me when one of the mini games was to actually drive around in a septic tank and shoot shit on property, and you actually earn points for it.
Why am I not
loved
surprised
the idea
that
of
the job or the quest that got you interested in it was driving around and spraying fecal matter on people's buildings?
Just don't piss off Scott.
I like to shit on everybody.
Don't piss him off in real
Scott.
life.
I like to shit on everybody.
From now on, I'm going to call you the Scat Man.
Careful, he's going to leave a flaming bag of poop on your front porch.
There you go.
I wouldn't know it.
So
I
just
never
to
opened
tell
that
you-
door.
The garage, maybe.
So just to tell you, Ian, is Saints Row 4 to me, all in all, is a true tribute to the franchise. Even people that have never picked up any of them and want to know who the hell these people are and what this whole game is about being so over the top, it's ridiculous. They can pick this up and just run with it. They don't have to worry about story. They do a great job of even doing a ton of throwback to bringing back the old Shandy from the second one. They actually, and I'm not going to give too much away, but you actually have a throwback and a flashback to Shandy in the second Saints Row, and how different she was until Saints Row 3. It's crazy. So there's that. And just to give you an idea, this is my favorite one to date. I've logged so far, and it's been out for just a little over 2 weeks. I've logged 37 hours into this game, and I am 96% complete of 100% completion, unlocking everything in this game and completing every single mini game.
Well,
It is
now,
that
let me-
addicting.
I'm sorry. Let me throw something else out there. You guys keep mentioning nods, and I know that there is a nod to one of my beloved franchises, Mass Effect. I absolutely love Mass Effect. I don't want to hear any bullshit about the end of 3. I actually like the end of 3. It wrapped everything up nicely. If you didn't like it, then you'd get mad, or you could get glad in the same pants you got mad in. But so I know that there's nods to Mass Effect in there. I want to know, out of the 3 of you, how many of you actually recognized that nod?
I did.
I did not.
I did, and I haven't even played Mass Effect.
I told you, John.
You mentioned it, but it
Fucker.
wasn't like if I was just playing it on my own, then I would not have recognized it because I've not played enough Mass Effect.
Yeah, I know, that's what sucks.
I'm sorry, I've got
Ian.
157 games in my Steam library.
Do we
Stop
really
bragging.
need to see who's got the bigger inventory?
Summer
Do we
sales.
need to go ahead and whip this out? All right. Yes, Ian, there's a really nice... I would say it's a huge put down on Mass Effect. It's really just a nod, like you said. And it's a good one. It's pretty damn funny. They also do a nod to Dead Island, and because it's from Deep Silver. It's pretty funny. Trying to think if there's any other game references that they do. Just really movie also with the Matrix and the whole, you having to log in or make the jump into that interface or that mainframe or whatever. But the 2 big game references that I got out of it was Dead Island and Mass Effect. So yeah, you'll like it. You'll chuckle. It's not like one of those ones you're like, oh my fucking god, I can't believe they did that. But there's 2 things that they do in Mass Effect where I don't want to say anything else.
And I appreciate that, because the last thing I want to
Yeah.
do is go into a game that's just chock full of references and have one reference ruined for me. But I appreciate that. So, it sounds like what I'm going to have to do
Is buy the game.
is I'm going to have to actually, either that
You could wait.
or
You can wait.
a year for the full package edition, because I know that they've already announced DLC. Because as much as I love giving money to developers, I think some bullshit DLC, I'm not looking at you, Oblivion, and your horse armor, but some DLC is just a bullshit money grab, and I'll wait until you want to do the Game of the Year edition, and I'll pick it up then.
Right.
Well, what I like about this is just in the past 2 weeks or 3 weeks or however long this game's been out, it's really great to see that a developer that bought this from THQ that took its unfortunate downfall, and they were able to make this game in less than a year, and they were able to put it out, and it got rave reviews from everybody, and it's already sold 1 million copies, and it tripled the sell on PC than it did on the Saints Row the Third. So
Well, now,
I'm hoping the way that they ended this, and I don't know if you beat it yet, Jerry. I'm hoping
Well, don't say
they
it too
actually
much
take
then.
this. I'm not saying anything. All I'm saying is I hope they take this franchise and see its true fan base and say, you know what? I think we got something here. Let's open our minds up and think about doing another one.
okay, so let me just throw something out there for closing. As being the one person in this group that has yet to purchase it, one quick question. I want a fast answer on it.
Yes.
This is kind of a 2-part statement. Going back to Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, I kind of give Obsidian a hard time, because what they did is they basically took the engine from Fallout 3 and just threw on a brand new game. Granted, I enjoyed the hell out of New Vegas, but at the time that it came out, graphics had increased, and potential for graphics had been well increased to the point where this appeared to be a $60 add-on that stood alone, which is why I bought New Vegas for $20 with all of its DLC. That's an ongoing thing with me. So let me ask you, when it comes to the graphics between 3 and 4, again, quick answer, do you notice a difference? Jerry?
Graphics, yes.
John?
Yes, to an extent.
Scott?
Nope.
Nope. So let's move this on, so that we don't spend 2 to 3 hours continuously speaking about Saints Row. I know that at least 2 of us have recently done this. Again, to our listeners, all 4 of us have children. Actually, we all have sons. So I know that at least 2 of us have picked up Disney Infinity. I actually went out of my way and dropped, I don't want to admit this, but about $200 to make sure that I had the game and almost every figure that was out at release. So I just kind of wanted to throw that out there and just kind of talk about Disney Infinity with Scott and kind of get his input and see if we can't convert Jerry and John into purchasing it as well.
Oh, you're not that far off from me.
Yeah,
But
so
we're gonna do that-
John got to see this briefly yesterday.
I was going to
that?
ask if we're doing that now, or are we doing that next podcast.
We'll do a teaser real quick, and we can even talk about it more. I will just say this about Disney Infinity. Since John, your son, I mean, he plays games every now and then, but he hasn't really gotten into it. You could probably wait on this because there's going to be many, many, many packs that are going to be coming out in the next year.
Oh, I'm sure of that.
Plural. To go back, Ian, and talk about it. So I picked it up yesterday, and I'll make this real short and sweet. Brought it home and unboxed it, everything, and we went ahead and they had a buy two, get one free on the character, so I said, let's go ahead and get the Incredibles family and just finish that out since it's only the mom, Violet, and Dash that are left. Right when I booted that game up, I couldn't stop smiling. That whole tutorial in the beginning, I personally could not stop smiling because of what Disney World and just Disney in general does to me personally as far as happiness, and that's what they strive for, and the movies and the nostalgia, and that whole tutorial sequence alone, I knew it was a great purchase right there.
You know what? I'm gonna have to agree with you, and I actually got the game. I ordered it from the Microsoft Store because they were able to offer all of the pre-order bonuses, and I knew that my son would like the Mater figure, so I went ahead and got that, and it arrived, I think it was like a Thursday after my son had been with me, which meant another weekend would go by before I saw him, and it sat on a table unopened for that entire period of time because I knew about that 10 to 12 minute intro. But I tell you what, waiting for that, and when Jack Skellington popped out from behind that tree, dude, me and my son like high-fived each other. We're like, oh yeah, oh yeah, this is gonna be awesome.
Did you actually
see Brendan loved it right when it went into that car sequence and you saw that race and that whole little clip right there right when you were about to go into the air glide, and I was just like, this is a true imagination. You build your toy box, do whatever, and if just to let you know, Jerry and John, if you like to collect things, you will become addicted. The missions alone, I can't stop doing them because they're so short and sweet.
I already collect things, and that's beer. There's a lot of it sitting at my house. I'm running short on money here.
And I know that we're looking to wrap this up and use this as a continuation. I want to go ahead and go out on a limb and admit something. Toys R Us actually has an exclusive figure for Disney Infinity. I'm not proud to admit it, but I had myself and another gentleman constantly stalking our local Toys R Us's, trying to keep an eye out for the Crystal Lightning McQueen. Luckily enough, this weekend, I will let it be known that I happened to be on ToysRUs.com at an early enough time, and I ordered the figure, and it's coming to my house, and due to shipping and handling, a $14 figure is going to cost me about $20.
Yeah, but that just sounds awesome.
Dude,
my son would die.
You got the Crystal Lightning McQueen? Holy shit.
Oh, it's coming.
My son would be all over that in a heartbeat. He loves
Dude,
McQueen.
Your son would love the Cars pack. You need to just go to Disney.com/infinity and go down to the packs and go to the Disney Cars pack and just look. It's the entire town of whatever that town is.
Is there a Mater in there?
Yeah, dude, Mater's one of the characters you can buy.
Well, one of the figures. I think I know what it is that he's getting for Christmas.
Oh, dude, Christmas. Yeah. He will not make you stop playing. That's the thing you have to prepare yourself for. You will not stop.
So I don't know what you're going through, Scott, but it's one of these things where I had my son for the 3-day weekend that just recently passed, and I actually dropped him off earlier tonight. This is being recorded on a Sunday, and it was nonstop. That's almost 5 days straight of me and him playing that game.
Wow.
I would like to see your profile and send me a screenshot of your collectibles. Oh, and did you redeem the cards? That's another thing, John. They're going to be releasing a PC and, unfortunately, not for it means anything to you, but an iPad version of the game. And when you buy the characters that go to the console, you can actually redeem these and play them on the PC version when it releases in October.
Huh.
Yep.
More addiction. It's Disney, man.
Yeah.
Screw you.
Yeah.
So anyways.
I'll tell you what, it's plastic crack. That's what it is.
That's exactly what it is.
So we'll come back to this one on next week's or next podcast.
Yeah, we'll definitely touch base on it, and I'll probably have the Lone Ranger because I want that after seeing that trailer, and I know that you have that, Ian.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. So anyways, in closing, this is who we are. We're the Super Barley Brothers. I know brothers usually means two, but we're four. So I'm Scott. We got John, Ian, and Jerry, and we're, gamers of all types. We just ended on a kiddie game that, to me, in my opinion, is not. So, hope you guys liked it. We'll look to record probably about every 2 weeks, so just keep in touch and let us know if you have any questions. We'll let you guys know how to contact us. Thank you, and have a good night.